What is up? Coach Emma here, and welcome back to the Fit Habit Life podcast, where we cut through the noise, talk about real health and fitness, sustainable fat loss, and habits that actually work. If you're someone who knows what to do, you've tracked your macros, hit the workouts, followed a plan, but the results still aren't adding up, this episode is for you. Today, I'll be breaking down 5 fat loss mistakes that most people make when trying to lose weight. And these aren't beginner level mistakes. These are sneaky habits that creep up on us even when you're doing quote unquote everything right. So let's clear the confusion and call these out. Because if you want to look good, feel good, and have your energy match your ambition, we need to clean these things up. To clarify, fat loss is not about being perfect. Really, it's about being consistent with the right things. And that's where oftentimes people struggle, or they confuse what they should be focusing on with something else. So, oftentimes, I've talked about quite a bit, is I tend to work with high achievers. High achievers, you don't need to work harder, oftentimes. And oftentimes, they know what to do, for the most part, with nuance. But they need to work smarter. They're prioritizing the wrong things, I guess. Because, this is what is commonplace online and just in general. There's a lot of misinformation out there or misinformed beliefs. So anyway, let's dig in. The number one thing that most people tend to do, that I've noticed, is they undereat during the week and overeat on the weekends. So I've seen a lot of people, a lot of my clients, former clients, current clients, potential clients, and during the week, they're dialed in and that they're in a calorie deficit. Usually it's too extreme. But then the weekend comes along, they go out to eat a whole bunch, they think, oh, I've been so good during the week. Let me just, have a couple drinks here and there and have an appetizer, maybe a dessert. Maybe I go to brunch tomorrow. Maybe I have a couple more cocktails. And then by the end of the week, end of the weekend, they're actually over consuming. Their average calorie intake is well over what it should be. And that is why their progress is stalled. And then I'm not coming from a place of judgment. This is really common. I did this. I used to think, oh, I have to eat the least amount possible. And then the weekend would come along and I'd have a beer. Maybe it would be 3 or 4. And then I was ravenous because the entire week I was under eating. And this is something I'll touch on too. There's a sweet spot for fat loss. You really only want to be losing about 1, maybe 2 pounds a week, depending on your size. And the extreme calorie deficits that most type A people do, they're like, well, more is better. And I can do whatever I put my mind to, which is true. But that tends to cause problems with the hungers and the cravings. And the overindulging on the weekends, because on the weekends you're given the opportunity, usually people have events and gatherings, they hang out with friends, they have brunches and date nights or whatnot. And because they're ravenous, because they underconsume the entire week, as I mentioned, I've been there, they way overdo it because their body is starving for any nutrients. So yeah, the best way to lose body fat is to calculate where your maintenance calories are at on the regular and then reduce about 300 to 500 calories from that. And you should be losing about a half pound to a pound a week. and that will be really sustainable and really easy to maintain. And your calories can fluctuate, but it shouldn't fluctuate that drastically. So like, and for example, like some people will be eating, 1,200-1,500 calories during the week, and then the weekends, they're 3,000, 4,000 calories, and it's like, whoa, that's a huge jump. What I recommend is like, let's say you do once a week, you want to do a date night with your husband, or go to brunch with the girls or whatever. I'm not a brunch lady, so but calculate your overall deficit for the week, and then you can allocate extra calories to one day. Not too many, but be within, a 200 calorie range of your lowest day. So like, let's say you have, you're going out to eat on a Sunday, and Monday through let's say your calorie deficit is 2,000 calories. It's an easy number. Maybe one day, you're doing 1,800 calories. So that Sunday, you could be at 2,200, right? So it's not a huge jump, but it just gives you that freedom to where you can have maybe a cocktail, or you can have a dessert or an appetizer, and fit that in with your protein and fiber. So anyway, I hope that helps. Number 2, thinking more cardio will equal better results. Our bodies can only handle so much stress. And the more exercise you do, the more stress you're putting on your body. Additionally, your body adapts to cardio. So, the more cardio you do, you might see a little bit of weight loss right off the bat. It probably will be muscle and fat. But your body will adapt, and you'll have to keep doing that to maintain your weight. So what I focus on with my clients, and what is the most effective way to lose body fat and maintain muscle mass, so you get that toned look, is to strength train, walk, and create that calorie deficit that is necessary for fat loss through food manipulation. As I talked about in the last point, right, just reducing your calories 300 to 500 a day for a period of time. Additionally, this is kind of controversial, but what I've noticed is too much stress, your body will downregulate its metabolic function because it doesn't want you to lose weight too quickly. So the more cardio you're adding, you could be just slowing down your metabolism. And I'm not saying cardio is bad. Cardio is not bad. Cardio is not great for fat loss. Lifting weights is superior. And it really depends on your goals, but more cardio is what I see people do. It's like they'll go to the gym for an hour or two, go on the stair stepper, elliptical, whatever, when really they should just be prioritizing getting strong and using exercise as a signal to tell their body to maintain their muscle tissue. So when they do go into that calorie deficit, they're losing body fat and maintaining muscle mass. So anyway, cardio is not better. More cardio will not yield you better results, and in fact could hinder your progress. And number 3, letting the scale dictate behavior. I've been there. I've done that. Stepping on the scale used to be a very difficult thing for me, and if the scale went up, I would increase my cardio, I would increase my activity levels, I would decrease my food. Weight fluctuations are totally normal. Weight fluctuations can occur from eating more sodium the day before, from eating more carbs the day before, from having poor sleep. Depending what phase you're on in the menstrual cycle, if you're a woman, that can increase your weight. And essentially it's water retention. Fat loss does not happen overnight. Fat gain does not happen overnight unless you eat an obscene amount of calories Most people's digestive system could not handle that, and most people do not do that. So the number on the scale will fluctuate, but it's the trend that matters. So don't let whatever number you're seeing on the scale on a regular basis dictate what you do. You should have a plan, stick to the plan, and every 2 weeks, monitor the trend. If the trend is not going in the direction that you want after 2 weeks of data, that's when you make adjustments and that's when you make changes. And that's exactly what I do with my clients. Because, I can get the scale to fluctuate by 5 pounds overnight, depending on what I did the day before. I am about 180, 185 pounds, so depending on the person, they could do more or less, but there's a lot of things, it's just, so don't do it. I've been there, I used to do the thing, so I totally get it. But at the end of the day, the number on the scale is just a number. And when most people start strength training and finally seeing physique changes and finally start to feel better and have more energy, the number on the scale won't matter. And most people's dream body weighs more than they think, because most people want to look toned, and to look toned you need muscle mass. Muscle weighs more than fat, so it takes up less space. Anyway, I'm about 25 pounds heavier than I thought I should be, and I feel great. My hormones are good. I don't want to go on too much of a tangent, but basically, don't let the scale dictate your behavior. Okay, number 4, ignoring stress and sleep. I've talked about this a whole bunch with my clients on social media, but stress and sleep are kind of the foundation of health. So sleep impacts your metabolism, it impacts your hormones, it impacts your resiliency, your recoverability, depending on your sleep quality, it can make you more hungry, even if you didn't change anything. It can increase your stress. Which impacts your hormones like testosterone and estrogen and progesterone. They are so crucial. Stress management in general. Most people I work with are type A, and it's like they don't prioritize themselves and recovery and relaxation. I am one of them, so I'm not speaking from I am above you type thing. It's like, no, this is the same shit that I struggle with. The stress part, I'm not great at. I'm a lot better than when I started, but it's still a work in progress for me. But stress and sleep impact your metabolism. So if you're not getting good quality sleep, if you're not getting enough sleep, if you're not managing your stressors well, you will not be recovering from your workouts. You will have a tough time maintaining your muscle mass, and your metabolism can downregulate. So you'll be working against your body instead of with it. And that's why, with my clients, we prioritize those things and we establish those healthy habits to help you manage your stress well, to help you get good quality sleep, to help you so that you can recover and be more resilient and spend less time struggling. These things are important just for energy levels and living a happy life, I'd say. When I'm stressed all the time, I am not happy. It's like fight or flight. I'm like a chicken with my head cut off, When I'm not sleeping well, I'm a jerk. I'm in a terrible mood. I'm not super kind. I'm not as understanding. I'm not as with it. I have a harder time completing the work that I have to do. So, basically, if you are ignoring stress and sleep, don't. You'll be shooting yourself in the foot and have a very difficult time on this fat loss journey. And number 5, not eating enough protein or fiber. Oftentimes, most people, when they're trying to lose weight and body fat, they just focus on the calories. But where the calories come from and the macronutrients, which are, the proteins, fats, carbs, fiber, alcohol, all of those things are super important for fullness, satiety, providing your body with the vitamins and minerals it needs to function optimally. And if you want to lose body fat easily and maintain your muscle mass, you need to be eating enough protein. Fiber helps with the fullness, but protein is so crucial. It is so important. And if you're not sure how much protein to eat, ideally you should be having about 1 gram per pound of ideal body weight. So let's say you're 150 pounds trying to get to 140. You want to be eating about 140 grams of protein a day, every day. It's a non-negotiable. Your body cannot produce those essential amino acids that are in protein by itself. And if you want to maintain muscle mass and be full so that you're not starving all day, eat your damn protein and plants. I had to think about that for a bit. I don't know why. Anyway. And I've been there. I've done all the things. So again, I'm not coming from a judgmental place. I'm coming from a, dude, I totally get it. I understand where you're coming from. But I don't want you to make the same mistakes that I made. So don't make these mistakes. Or if you are, change it up. If this gave you an aha moment, share it with a friend who's grinding but not seeing the results they deserve. Screenshot it, tag me on Instagram at fit.habit.emma, and let me know which mistake hit home hardest. And if you're ready to stop guessing and start making progress that actually lasts, check the show notes for how we can work together, or shoot me a DM on Instagram. And I've got a free Facebook group. The link is also below. And feel free to join. I'd love to see you in there. And remember, you don't need another crash diet. You need a system that works for your lifestyle. So I'll see you next time on the Fit Habit Life podcast. See ya.